That's not okay. Let's get that fixed. Today I am eating humble pie. I was making a video about improving your listings on eBay, especially for jewelry. And as I was looking through some of mine, I noticed that some of my listings are not following the rules that I usually set for myself. So I'm going to go through today and show you what I'm going to do to fix some of these and what are the steps of things that I look for when I am going through to fix my listings to see, like, why is this still not selling? What is the problem here? Let's get started. Here's my store, and I am going through looking to see what I am missing or what maybe I messed up on some of my listings that I need to get fixed. The first thing I like to look at are the photos. So when I'm looking at the photos, I want to make sure that the first photo I've chosen is pretty clear, it's easy to identify, it's not too blurry, it's not too dark, or the item isn't too far back, like I need to crop it in a little bit more to be able to fix that, to make it more appealing to the person that is wanting to perhaps buy the item. One of the things I noticed with my photos is that with my Kendra Scott earrings here, it's not the best photo. They honestly were kind of hard to get pictures of, but let's take a look at a quick way that I can fix this without having to go retake the photos. So when I click on my listing, I can come to revise listing and I can look over my photos again. Again, as I said, they were kind of hard because they changed colors. Maybe I should have done a little video to show that. A lot of times that's what I'll do. But this was the first photo that I chose. And as you can see, it's kind of like meh in the background, but I can come over here and brighten it up in eBay, which is fantastic. And if I do that, I don't want to go like, whoa, make it look like that's not at all what they look like, but maybe just a little bit of, because here's where it was here. Maybe give it a little bit of brightening, and that might not do a ton, but it's better than having to go back and retake the whole bunch of photos again. And let's say I had this one as my first photo, you can see how dingy the background looks. I could brighten that up a little bit to make it look a little bit better. And if I were wait, let's see what this does. Is this background remover? And List Perfectly, a lot of times I'll remove the background. See, that didn't work here. No, I've jumped over to List Perfectly, which is a site that I use to cross-post my items. And usually over here is where I will do the editing for my photos. As you saw with eBay, when I tried to remove the background, it removed the stones as well. So I'm going to remove the background on this one with the List Perfectly app and see if they come out any better. There we go. Looks a lot better, don't you think? This is something I can do either in List Perfectly or if the item works well on eBay, and then I can come in and crop it. You can crop on eBay as well, but the background remover works a lot better on List Perfectly. So here's that. So I might go in, because this is the photo I've got now as my first photo, and I'm going to probably come back and use this one instead. So I can send this photo over, or I'm just going to take a screenshot of it, honestly, and because it will save me a little bit of time. So just screenshot that from here. But if you're interested in List Perfectly, I love it. I use it to cross post my items, edit my photos, crop everything. So here I've got this. I'm going to come back in here, revise my listing. So I'll just leave that one as is. I'm coming back in, adding that photo in that was here. Looked like that. Now I've got that. And so I think I will go ahead and change this one to my first photo instead of having the other one. Pretty quick fix that I can do. But while I'm here, I'm looking at my title, Kendra Scott Alex Slate Drop Earrings. I've got earrings kind of far into my listing, Kendra Scott Alex Slate Drop Earrings. So I'm going to move this part. I'm going to move drop earrings over here because I want earrings to be pretty early in. Alex is the name of the style. Slate is what they call the color. But honestly, if I didn't know this was called slate, I might not, because they kind of look gray in some photos. Like I said, the way they moved. I'm going to move that up. So somebody else is like, why are they called slate? I realize I should put white in here because they do kind of look white, right? White or off-white. So I'm going to add white stone, Alex Slate, cat's eye, gray, gold tone, earrings. That is a word that I did not have in my listing, which might help somebody find them if they don't know that this one is called slate, because that is what Kendra Scott's site calls that color. And now when I look at my listing, it looks a little bit better. I still don't love the photos because of the glare on them from my camera and my lighting, but it's way better than it was with this one, I think, than the other. The next thing I have in my checklist to double check on my listings on eBay to make sure that they are going to be found in search is I try to make sure, and I touched on it in the Kendra Scott one, I try to make sure that what the item is early on in the title, at least within the first 3 to 5 words. eBay has not updated this yet, so let me see if I can refresh. No, it still hasn't updated it on here. That's okay. So I'm looking through, and right off the bat, like boom, 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 they don't have the word of what it actually is in the first 3 to 5 words. Cold tone vine leaves, brown faceted stone. It's not even there in the first like little snippet of the listing. Same thing here. Long orange navy, tassel beaded. Then I've got necklace. I need to get necklace earlier in. This one, I don't even have ring in there. That's not okay. Let's get that fixed. Look, ring is way over here. I have had this listed a really long time. Gold tone vines, leaves, brown, faceted stone, statement ring. So I'm going to go over here and rework this title. Also, this is something that's going to be coming up, is that I need to figure out why it's been listed for so long, and maybe it could be as simple as that first picture isn't really doing it justice. This one really isn't either, but like I said, I've had this up for a really long time, hasn't sold yet. So I'm going to try playing around with switching the photo out and the title. I'm going to crop this into, because it looks like it's not centered, and it's not awful, but I can fix it a little bit and like zhuzh it up a little bit. Right? Brighten it just a teens, takes out a little dinginess from the background, and there's that. So let's fix this over here. So here I've reworked it a little bit. I still don't love the title, brown stone ring, gold tone vines, statement ring. I'm going to leave that one up because I know I'm going to come back to it, because it's definitely something that I see something else that I need to fix. The next thing that I like to go through and look for are misspellings. And this is something that I do frequently. I actually just had somebody recently email me and point out that, look over here, Christmas is misspelled in my categories. They're like, I promise I'm not a hater. I'm not trolling you, but Christmas is misspelled. I completely missed that. So in my categories, I need to go back later and fix the spelling for Christmas. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. But I'll go through and look and see, just a quick scan, is anything jumping out at me that I've misspelled? And at the moment, there's not. But it doesn't hurt to scan through and check, because I've definitely misspelled things, and that will affect the ability to be able to search for it. Another thing that, especially with rings, or say you're selling shoes, in the title, you want to put the size, because a lot of times people, when they're searching for rings specifically, or shoes, something that they need the exact size for, it's good to have the size in the title. So I don't have the size in this title. So what I want to make sure I go and do is put the size in. I wouldn't necessarily do it for necklaces or bracelets, but for rings, I would. I do have a photo that I'll put in that shows the ring size on the mandrel, but I want to make sure that I get that in my title as well. So this is about a size 7. So brownstone ring, gold tone vines, I'll put size 7. Statement ring, I'm going to take brown out down here because I've got too many words. And I still am not loving this, so I might come back and rework that title some more. But I want to make sure that I get the size in there. As I'm going through, I'm seeing so many of my listings that I'm going to need to go back and double check on. Like this one, it doesn't have earrings. You can't even see it before it cuts off. And this one, ring, is so far down that it needs to be fixed as well. Over and over again, I'm seeing, wow, this is something, I don't want to do all of these and make you watch me do them all. But that's something I need to go back through and fix on my listings, because that's likely why they're not being found. Another thing that I like to do is try to get unusual keywords in there that maybe other sellers aren't using. And that might be something as simple as with this brooch, I might want to put something about Valentine's Day in the title. Even if it's further down in the title, I might want to make sure I get something like that in for listings that there might be more similar items. Maybe it hasn't sold in a while, but what else can I do to kind of make mine show up in more searches? On this one, I might put something like Valentine's. This one could be spring or Easter. With rings like this one that have gemstones, I could look up and see, is this gemstone a birthstone for somebody? And maybe put birthstone for that month. Or there are people that really like gemstone or stone rings to do with the chakras in the body, and just knowing like, okay, this gemstone or this color stone aligns with, the heart chakra. And I want to make sure that I put heart chakra maybe in the title or somewhere in my listing, just so that it might get found by that one extra special person, and that they are able to find it if they're searching for jewelry to do with the throat chakra or April birthstones. Making those little adjustments can really help your item be found by more people. There are also people that like stretched jewelry, whether it's rings or bracelets, because of arthritis or swelling. And so having something like that with these, I have this stretch bracelet that hasn't sold yet. So being able to put something like that, making sure that it says stretch, like mine doesn't say stretch, it probably says it further down in the title or in the listing, but having that stretch in the title would really help too. If someone's looking for, I need a ring, but it needs to be a stretch ring or adjustable. And then with wooden jewelry, I've seen a lot of sellers or people searching for vegan jewelry. Even though a lot of other jewelry may be vegan, for some reason when it's wood, then they like to use the word vegan, and maybe that shows up in search for people that are looking for specifically vegan jewelry. I'd love to know if you have any other keyword tips for things like that. And we're going to move on. The next thing at a glance that I'll look at is the price. Do I have things priced too high or too low? Even if something hasn't sold yet, I could still have it priced too low. It might be something that, here, let's go search. Let's search by lowest price. Because there is something called perceived value. And if I'm looking at these earrings, even though they're on sale right now for $6.99, I might think, $6.99, huh? Why so cheap? Right? And when I think cheap, then I think cheap. And I'm like, I don't want to buy cheap stuff. If I'm going to use my money, So that perceived value that people have, it's like a psychological phenomenon that people would rather pay a higher price for something because they think they're getting that is better quality. So this is something that I might come back and look at, even though it's been listed for a while. I might consider raising the price because of that perceived value of it being cheap. One of the next things I'll look at are watchers, and I'll do this on the back end. You can't really see the watchers when you're looking at your store. And this, I'm wondering, like, why does this have two watchers? So this black patina sterling silver ring, it's got two watchers. So one of the things I can do to kind of jiggle that is either raise the price or lower the price, because then your watchers get notified that the price has changed. This is also something that normally when it's that dark, I will try to clean it up. So this might be something that I need to pull and clean up. I don't clean off light tarnish, but this one's pretty tarnished. I'm surprised I didn't, and it hasn't sold. So it might be something I need to go back and consider giving it a little polish. But beyond that, I don't pay too close attention to watchers or views. One of the next things I go through and look at with my listings is the shipping. Sometimes I have the shipping off, and that might deter someone from buying it. When I look at the size of the item and then I come down and see what the shipping price is, if this is way off, or sometimes I'll have accidentally selected priority, and so it's like $7 or something like that, then I need to go through and fix that. So as I'm looking through, here's this item, $5, that might be a bit high for that item. I might have the weight off. So here I see $5 for these earrings. Why have they not updated let me refresh this. There we go. So $5 on that. Let me go see why. What do I have this? Maybe I have the weight off on these. When I come down and look at the weight that I have put these at, I have them at 10 ounces. These are not 10 ounces. I mean, they'd be lucky if they're 3 ounces. So I'm going to switch that down to 5 ounces, which drops the price on the shipping a little bit, but it's going to be enough that it might just tip it over the edge as far as the buyer. I don't offer free shipping, and so I want to make sure that my shipping is as accurate as I can have it. So here we've got $4.33, which, you know, isn't that much less than 5, but again, psychologically, that might be just the thing that someone needs to see, like, oh, it's not like over $5. And I do recommend checking this because I have had some things sell that they automatically went priority because that was what was selected and I didn't catch it when I was listing the item. And so I wonder if that might have made something sit for a little bit longer because the shipping price was more than what it probably should have been. Well, I have got a little bit of work to do to go over there and fix some of these titles that I really didn't realize didn't have those keywords early on in the title. So I've got to go fix that. I hope you found this video helpful and that you were able to find some tips to go through and get some of those checked out for yourself and hopefully get your sales increased. I will see you on the next video. Thank you for hanging out. Bye, everyone.